So I am certainly a natural born salespeople, and there are others. It's rare, but there are some, right? What the reason the way of the wolf is so effective? It's the straight line system, is what I teach, right? And the book explains that. Is that if you were to ask the average person, like, what is it that you do when you sell? What are you actually doing? They'll say, well, I'm making people trust me, or I'm really good at building rapport, or I'm an expert at overcoming objections, right? And while all of those things by themselves they're true, that's not really what you do when you sell. You know, you actually doing a very specific thing when you sell, right? And that is you're transferring the emotion of certainty. In other words, if you're a salesperson selling a product, right, or service, right, then obviously, you love this product, you love the service, you know how great it is, you know everything about it, so you're very certain that the customer should be buying because it can help them fill their need, eliminate their pain points, right? So you yourself are certain. The customer, or the prospect at this point, is not as certain as you. Why? Because they don't know all the things about your product. They don't know how awesome it is, how it could solve their problem, right? So you're at a very high level of certainty. They're at a relatively low level of certainty. So what you're really doing when you sell is you're essentially transferring that certainty that you feel inside to the prospect to make them hopefully almost as certain as you are, so they buy, right? Now, when you think about that, when you think about certainty, the first thing that comes to most people's minds is the product. Like, okay, well, they have to be certain that the product or the service is awesome, that it's going to solve their problems, it's going to eliminate any pain they have, it's got a great cost benefit ratio, the value proposition makes sense, right? They have to be absolutely certain, right, about the product. And that's true. But there's more than that because, yes, someone could be very, very certain about the product, like 100% certain, you're right, it's a great product. But what if they don't trust you, the person who's trying to sell it to them? Are you going to buy from someone you don't trust? No, you're not going to. So it's not enough that you make someone certain about the product. They also have to become certain about you. You're selling yourself, not just the product. And for that matter, they also have to be certain about the company that stands behind the product. There's going to be a company that's delivering a service, offering a guarantee, or whatever it might be. So there are these three core elements. They must be certain about the product, certain about you, certain about the company, right? So essentially what you're doing when you sell, when you are convincing, closing someone, is you're essentially building certainty for all three of those things, sometimes separately and sometimes at the same time, okay? And your goal is to get someone extremely certain about all three of those things and ask them for the order to buy. And if you've done your job well and they're very certain, you have an excellent shot, right? So that's like one part of the system. But on top of that, there's other things involved too. There are certain rules and guidelines. For example, you can't break rapport. You must build rapport and maintain rapport. Why? Because if you break rapport, you can't influence anyone to do anything. You have to be in rapport. Also, to effectively do those three things, to build that certainty, you have to be in control of the conversation. You have to, or else it will spiral out of control. And it's very difficult when every conversation becomes different. It's very difficult for a salesperson to line up those elements. So you must take control of the conversation, and then you sort of dictate it and move it down this so-called straight line to build this certainty in a very logical way and doing it the same way every time. Well, to do that, you must be perceived as an expert. People want to listen to experts. You must be perceived as being sharp, on the ball, enthusiastic. So the question then becomes, well, how do you do that? So essentially what I'm driving at is this. The straight line, what it does is it divides up a sale into these discrete chunks, competencies, saying you need to do this here, this here, this here. And by doing that, what it allows you to do is sell at the same level that I can naturally. Because what a natural salesperson does is all those things automatically. Like someone's born with the talent, yeah, they just know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. But most people, like 99.9%, are not born with that gift. The beauty is it's a completely learnable skill. So anyone that studies this, it's something that they can't sell, and boom, they become expert salespeople. And I will tell you that no matter what you do for a living, whether it's even business or personal, the ability to sell, to influence, persuade is one of the single most important distinctions, bar none.